Once you have created your questions in a question bank, the next step is to create the actual quiz in the course. To create the quiz, turn editing on and select Add an activity or resource in the topic section where you want the quiz to reside. Then select Quiz and Add. Name the quiz and provide any information or directions in the description box. Next, set the timing for when you want the quiz to open and close and how long students will have to complete the quiz. Under the grade setting, if you have created a category in your gradebook for quizzes, you can select it. If you are setting any restrictions or have activity completion tied to a grade, then set the grade to pass. Otherwise, ignore this setting. Next, you can determine how many attempts students will be allowed. Note, you will set the maximum points for the quiz later in the quiz creation process. For the rest of the settings, you will probably want to keep the defaults. The default layout puts each question on a separate page, so Moodle will automatically save each answer as the student advances to the next. If all of the questions are on one page, should the student experience technical difficulties and lose connection, none of their answers will be saved. Likewise, the default settings under Review Options are set for typical summative assessment. When a student completes the quiz, they will see the points earned. This will indicate whether they got the answer right or wrong, but they will not see the correct answer until after the quiz closes. This helps ensure academic integrity, since students will be less able to share correct answers with other students, and it also makes sense if you are letting students have multiple attempts. If you have already set the timing, when the quiz will open and close, and how long students will have to take the quiz, then there is no need to set any extra restrictions. If you are tracking students' activity completion, you will want to select Show Activity as Complete when conditions are met, and check Require Grade. If you have set a passing grade in the grade category and want to confirm this, check Require Passing Grade. The activity completion report will indicate students have achieved a passing grade with a green check mark. When you have established all of your settings the way you want, click Save and Display. You now have a quiz, but there are no questions in the quiz, so click Edit Quiz to add them. In this window is where you can set the maximum points for the quiz. Click Add and a menu will appear, and select from Question Bank in order to add the questions you created. Select the category with your questions. Next, check the checkbox at the top of the questions next to the T for total. This will check all of the boxes next to the questions in the question bank. Then click Add Selected Questions to the quiz. The quiz is now populated with questions. You can choose to shuffle the order in which questions are displayed. This is another way to better ensure academic integrity, since each student will get the same questions but in a different order. Notice that the point value for each question is listed as 1, but since the maximum grade for the quiz is 100, Moodle will automatically do the calculations and award the proper number of points. If you want questions to receive different values, you can make the adjustments by clicking on the pencil icon to the right of the number to edit. If you make any changes, remember to click the Save button in the upper right. If you are going to have multiple sections in your quiz, you can indicate this by adding a new question and selecting Description from the very bottom of the question picker. Type in your description. You can move the description to wherever you want it to appear in the quiz using the arrow in the left margin. Just be aware that if you have chosen to shuffle questions, the description will be shuffled as well. If at any point you want to get back to the Editing Quiz page, open the quiz and in the Administration block, click Edit Quiz. This will take you back to the page with all of the questions. Your quiz is now ready, but I strongly recommend that you take the quiz to confirm that everything is working the way you want. If the quiz is already open, you can simply click Attempt Quiz Now. If the quiz is still closed, in the Administration block, click Preview. Should you determine there's a problem with a question, there's a misspelling, an incorrect answer, etc., you can correct it by clicking Edit Question. This will change the question within the quiz as well as in the question bank. It may take some time up front to create a Moodle quiz. However, quizzes are an excellent way to provide formative and summative assessment of your students, and they can be used and reused each semester.